Now let's talk about, let's just Q mesh a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Q mesh these two faces here. So I'm going to go into my ZModeler brush, BZM, hold down Alt, grab these two white ones. I'm going to hit X, actually, to go across X symmetry here. Now let's say I wanted to pull these straight out instead of like Q meshing and it kind of goes out like that. One thing you can do is you can hover over a face and you can click Transpose. Transpose a single poly, and because these are white, we can just hit Transpose a single poly. And I'm just gonna, it's basically gonna mask those two polys. And I'm gonna click and drag, and I'm gonna hold down, if I hold down Shift, it's gonna pull them straight out. But remember Transpose modeling, I can hold down Control Shift and pull an edge straight out, and I can actually keep doing that if I want to. So don't forget, you have Transpose modeling available to you as well. And of course, if I wanna flatten these two edges right here, we can go, well, one way we can do that is hold down Shift and then W, and then just kind of pull, hold down Shift and pull these together. In fact, you can do that all the way through here. If you hold down Control and Mask, you can mask these polygroups right here, invert that mask, and then you can go W and pull these straight down. Or if you're even lazier, you can mask these, invert that mask, hold down Control Shift, go in here to clip, and you can actually clip these back to here, or you can clip it this way. Oops. You can clip it straight this way or straight this way, because remember, all it's doing is pulling these polygons straight to that gradient edge here. So always feel free to use clipping to get it done. And then of course, once you've had these in a straight line, you can go in here and go to Slide, Edge Loop Complete, and we can just slide these things around right along that surface. So moving right along, let's talk a little bit about bridging. So if I have these two polygons, you're going to see as I'm rolling around, it's kind of putting that little orange rubber band around. That's telling it a direction on that face. And the reason why you might want to do that is if you want to bridge two polygons together. For instance, if we go here and we want to bridge these two together, we can select this polygon, go to Bridge, Two Polys, and bridge connected polys. Actually, we're going to bridge connected polys with a curve, and we're going to select this one, and it's going to tell it you want to bridge these two polygons together. Now, as I'm dragging around, it's not doing really what I want, so I'm actually going to turn on, let's do circle. Let's see if that helps. So nope, we have to tell it align to normal, and now it'll actually go ahead and bridge those two together. Now, if we hold down Shift and Smooth, it's going to give us some weird stuff going on in here, so I want to make sure I tell it triangle sides. And then when we go ahead and bridge these two together, so if you pull down, it's actually going to bulge up. Wait, if I pull right and left, it's going to bulge up and down, and then up and down is going to give it more or less resolution. Now you can specify the resolution if you want. If you want to say, hey, you know what? I want it to do a circle that's a perfect circle with a resolution of 8, align to normal, triangle sides, and you just tap and pull. It should give you a resolution here. Oh, specified resolution wasn't clicked. I need to tap it, and that activates it. Now 8 is activated, and then no amount of pulling you do, it'll go ahead and make those a perfect circle as it can, because this isn't perfectly centered. It's doing a circle around an off-center thing, so that's why. However, if we do between these two, we can tell that, well, if we tell that orange line here, it's going to want to do those two polys, but we want to do these two middle ones, so I'm going to go roll around until it goes to these two, so it points to this polygon over here. Click it. Perfect. Same thing, I can just work my way down. I can connect those two polygons. I can connect these two polygons down the middle. And if I'm so inclined, I can also go in here to that point operation. So I'll go back to my Q mesh here. We can go to split point. We can go ahead and drag out a point here. And let's go ahead and just click on this one too. So it'll remember the exact same amount. And then if I go in here, see how it's kind of like half res on this one? If I go into split ring, and then just tap this one, I'm going to click and drag this a little bit to kind of set that size, and then tap this one. It'll go ahead and add a little bit more resolution around here. So now when I Q mesh, polygroup all, no, I can't even do polygroup island. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Control Shift, select rectangle, hold down spacebar. I'm just going to grab these polygons right here, do Control W, and now I'm Q meshing this. These are both the same polygroup. I can do Q mesh polygroup island. Pull this straight down through, and I'm good to go. I can hit D if I want to like check this one out. Now this one's kind of ugly, you know, so I'm going to hit Shift D. Instead of going around here to my edges and going, okay, I'm going to crease an edge and just tap, 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 what I can do is actually hover over a face, and I can crease an entire face. Now I can crease a poly, or remember how we have this whole flat island? you can go ahead and crease a flat island. I want to say I want to crease the polygroup, not a polygroup border, I want to crease the outer targets of that flat island and the outer edges. So if I click this face, all these flat island, it should, let's see, let's do targets. So targets, all outer targets, all edges. There we go. So when I click that, it's going to go ahead and crease all of my outer targets on that face. So I hit Shift D. I can go over here, and because this is a flat island, I can click this face and it grabs the outer targets, all edges of that flat island, and then when I hit D, those are done. You can also go here and hit this one and hit D. So there you go. And then of course over here, and you can just leave it in preview mode and just go ahead and do those ones as well. Now if you want to save yourself a little bit of time, what you can do is instead of doing a flat island, let's go ahead and undo all that. You can go over to this face. Instead, you can do a flat island. You can also do flat border. And with this one, we might not even need our outer targets. No, we do. If you don't do outer targets, it's going to crease all the ones in that entire flat island. So we're going to go ahead and do outer targets. Can't seem to find the option for just doing a flat island polygroup. I'm probably just missing it because I'm tired. But another thing you can do is you can isolate all of those edges here, and if you go to geometry crease, you can just crease all open edges, and that'll go ahead and do the thing too. But just to kind of demonstrate what I was talking about, if you go over here to Q mesh, let's do an extrude polygroup, let's do an extrude flat island, and then we can extrude this flat island here, or because all of these faces are flat here, I should be able to, ZModeler's making me look stupid. One way around that is actually something I should probably show you anyways. I did that on purpose. I want to show you guys this. So we're going to go to polygroups, and one thing we can do is we can group by normals. So by default the max angle is 45, so we group by normals here. Anything on that angle threshold of 45, we'll go ahead and group those, and that's actually a perfect grouping. However, if you make this smaller and group by normals, you'll grab more because that angle is smaller, that angle threshold. If you make it higher, like 65, it's going to grab less. So, just kind of tweak these numbers to get what you need, but 45 worked fine. So now what we can do is, let's say we want to make this polygroup the same as this polygroup. And one easy way is to go ahead and isolate these, invert that, and then isolate them together and hit Control W. Another thing you can do is actually you can paint polygroups. So you can go ahead and hover over face and do polygroup a flat island. And if you polygroup this flat island, if you just if you hold down Alt or touch it and then hold down Alt, it'll go ahead and cycle through polygroups here. Another thing you can do is hover over face, tap it, and then hit Shift, and then hover over this one. It'll actually inherit that polygroup. So if I hover over this one and tap Shift, it'll inherit that blue, and now this flat part here will be colored the same, and now I can do, like, say, an extrude flat and polygroup, and now, well, heck, let's just do polygroup all. There we go. Finally did it.